Hi, my name is Tina and this is Knitting Blooms. You can find show notes for everything I talk about on my blog at www.knittingblooms.com. And if I miss a link, please feel free to contact me on Ravelry as Bloomingknitter, or you can email me at knittingblooms@gmail.com. Come and join the Ravelry group so you can be eligible for all the prize drawings. And be sure to introduce yourself so that I can get to know you also. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as Bloomingknitter. And don't forget to click the like button on Facebook for Knitting Blooms. Have you seen the new Twisted Lights from Barmaids? Twisted Lights are the most incredible beeswax candle with a very long burn time. For example, the smaller of the Twisted Lights burns for approximately 20 hours. But that's not what sets it apart from other candles. Twisted Lights look exactly like small balls of yarn. They look so much like a ball of yarn, it almost looks like somebody took a ball of yarn and dipped it in wax. And just like balls of yarn, Twisted Lights comes in lots of amazing colors, and they are 100% beeswax. Barmaids does not use any additives or hardeners in their candles, nor do they coat their molds with toxic mold release. You can get your Twisted Light candles at www.bar-maids.com. Hi everybody, I am so happy to be back chatting with you today, and I'm so glad that you've decided to spend some time with me as well. I had every intention of making this episode a Knit-topia recap. However, I took a lot more video at the retreat this year than I had anticipated, and there was a lot of stuff that went on. So after spending about 2.5 hours last night just kind of skimming through and, scanning through the videos and only getting through about half of them, not even to the editing stage, just to the point of, okay, I want to include this part and I want to include that part, I decided that this week is not going to be the Knit-topia recap. It's because I need more time. I think the hang on, Cody's on my lap and I'm trying to reorganize here. I think I took around 10.5 hours of video at Knit-topia this year. So yeah, a lot of video. I'm not gonna show you all of that, but I want to give you a good feel of what Knit-topia is all about and what we do there, and just kind of an idea of the fun that we have while we're at Knit-topia. So I do need to go through all of that video and pick and choose, what I want from each video in there, and what videos I can just totally eliminate. And then there are hundreds of photos as well, and I'm still getting people posting their photos on Flickr and whatnot, so I'll be collecting some of those photos to share with you as well. So instead, I've decided to give you an update on all of my knitting progress from the last 4 weeks. Because as you remember, I think it was the last week in February that I recorded last, and then the following week was a tutorial. Was that right? Yeah. I can't remember. Whatever week it was. It might have been February 21st that I recorded last, and then the following week was a tutorial. And then the following week, right before Knit-topia, I was due to record again, but with the loss of Marty, I just was not up to recording. And speaking of Marty, I am still struggling quite a bit with his departure from this world. It's getting a little easier. It was really hard when I got back from Knit-topia because it happened a week before Knit-topia, and then I had all the preparations for Knit-topia to finish up, and then I was off at camp for a week and a half, and then I got home. So those 2 weeks prior or 2 weeks after his passing was just a whirlwind, and I really didn't have a chance to really think about it too much. But this week it has kind of hit me a little bit more. I've kind of expected, you know, there's been a couple days that I've come home from work and, you know, kind of thinking, oh, you know, he's going to be waiting in the window, and he wasn't. And he was a big ice cream lover, so whenever we had ice cream, he would get the leftover. So that was hard this week when I had a yogurt bar and he wasn't there to lick the stick after I was done. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit rough because of the fact that he went so quickly, and it just was not expected at all. And it's so soon after Mickey as well. But I am getting through it with the support of all of you and all of my friends, and I just really appreciate all of the kind things that you have posted in the group and the support that you've provided. It's just really nice to know that so many people are out in the world thinking about me and, you know, remembering Marty along with me. So as you might imagine, this has been a busy week for me. I am kind of in the Knit-topia recovery phase. Yes, I was gone for a week and a half, and I had no internet. I did get emails on my phone, and I could check websites and stuff on my phone, but for the most part, I had no internet access. I mean, I'm used to being able to just get on the computer anytime I want, look up patterns, look up anything I want on the internet, and go. And I didn't have that, so I have a whole long list of things that I need to kind of follow up on this week. A lot of the stuff was stuff that was shared at Knit-topia and stuff that that I want to check into. In fact, I have my list. I should just look at it and give you an idea. I mean, we're talking about gleaners, which I don't even remember what they were. I think it was a sweater, some kind of sweater stone or something or like that. I have a whole list of Knit-topia follow-up. The subscribe and save from Amazon, I have no idea what this is all about, but this was mentioned at Knit-topia. Someone mentioned something about Blog Lovin'. Oh, I think that was a new app for following podcasts so that you don't have to go through Downcast. I wanted to check into that. A lily brush. Oh, outdoor sealant, plumber's caulk for the bottom of your slippers to make it a little bit grippy. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I wrote down that I have to check into, and I still haven't had a chance to do any of that this week yet. I've been very busy at home this week, just getting unpacked, getting reorganized, getting things cleaned up. I found out on Sunday, I only talked to Steve, I think I talked to Steve twice while I was at camp. The second time was on Tuesday evening. Yeah, Tuesday evening, the second week. And then I didn't talk to him again because I think I called him on Friday and he didn't answer his phone, and then it was just a crazy whirlwind weekend. So I found out Sunday when I got home that he was sick almost the entire time I was gone. He started to get sick on Tuesday and then ended up taking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off of work, and then was sick on, you know, feeling a little bit better on Saturday and Sunday, but didn't do a whole lot around the house. So usually when I'm gone, he basically revamps the entire house and all the cleaning is done when I get home. So really I only have to get unpacked and get back into life. But this time I have to do some cleaning now too, which is totally fine. I would never expect him to clean while he's not feeling well. I know how I feel when I'm sick and I don't want to be cleaning. But yeah, so that's added a little bit of extra stuff that I've needed to get done this week. And I also have a new addiction, which I'll talk about shortly. Work has been busy too. I was pretty much caught up with all the backlog from when I was gone on Tuesday. I was caught up on Tuesday from all the backlog. But work has still been incredibly busy this week. We are still swamped from all the losses that have happened because of this hard winter that we had. So there has been no knitting time this week. In fact, today was the first day that I just took some time to get on MyFitnessPal and give an update there. I have not been on there for almost 3 weeks. So, yeah, it's been busy at work. And I haven't had time to do anything really except for work. So that's been busy. So no knitting at work. Needless to say, hasn't been much knitting happening since I got home. But because it's been 4 weeks since I recorded, I do have a lot of knitting to show you. So, my new addiction would be machine knitting. Yep. I never in a million years thought I would become a machine knitter. And honestly, I don't know how much I will be doing with machine knitting as of yet, but here's my thought. I was able to borrow a friend's knitting machine for Knit-topia, and the idea was for us to knit strips and then crochet them together to make some charity blankets. We did that. The first weekend was slow going. I was trying to get used to the machine, understand how it worked, how the best way to create these strips would be, and it was a little slow going. I had a couple other people that were interested in helping out, and they were unfamiliar with this machine as well. And it was just so busy and so hectic during the weekend that we really did not get that many strips done. I think we did possibly 5 strips, but I think they all ended up to be different lengths. So in the end, we were not able to use those strips. At least we haven't yet. We didn't throw them out or get rid of them or anything like that. We haven't determined exactly how we're going to use them yet. And it may end up that we either knit some more pieces to go to fill in the blanks, or we make it into one long scarf or something. I'm not sure yet. We haven't quite decided. But during midweek, I had a chance to sit down because midweek is a slow time. We don't have any classes. We don't have any major activities during midweek. So it's just kind of come and relax and just enjoy time to sit and knit. So midweek, I had a chance to really start playing with the machine and understanding how it worked and trying different things, and really finally was able to get the thing to work. It did require a little bit of oil, and we hunted that down while somebody was in town one day. And once we were able to put some silicone oil in there, we were able to get the machine to work a little bit better, and then we were flying. By the end of the second weekend, we had 2 completely finished blankets, which I don't have here to show you today because they went home with somebody else, and they will be coming back to my house when the person who took them home comes to club. I just had so much stuff in my car that a lot of stuff had to go home with other people until they come to club, and then it will be returned to me. But that happens every year. Anyway, so we had enough we finished, completely finished, crocheted, and I believe all the ends were woven in as well. 2 blankets. And I think we had enough strips to complete 1 more blanket. So I'm not exactly sure where we're going to donate them. I'm thinking I'm going to call the local Royal Oak homeless shelter to see if they need them. And if they don't need them, then I will find a charity to donate them to. But I was having so much fun with this knitting machine. In fact, I was sad to see it go home with its owner on Saturday evening. But that was the plan all along. And then I decided that I need to have my own knitting machine so that I can knit these charity blankets. And on Sunday, when I got home, I started searching the internet for tutorials on how to use knitting machines. And I came across so many tutorials online of different things, how to make hats, how to make socks, how to do different textured stitches and whatnot. And I'm thinking, I could do so much more than just charity knitting. So, because of the generosity of all of the participants at Knit-topia, I have a knitting machine coming. That it should be coming next week. It's not here yet. I just ordered it this week. So that is going to be exciting. And because I can do hats and snuggles and blankets, and I just think that I can really whip through a lot of charity knitting. And I do have some to show you today. I did a prototype for the snuggle, but I'll show you all that when I get to my knitting finished objects and works in progress. So yeah, machine knitting, it's gonna be crazy. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if you guys have interest in it, I will probably be doing some tutorials on machine knitting at some point in the future. I will have to get my machine and kind of figure out how to use it and all of the bells and whistles and all the different techniques and whatnot. In fact, I ordered the same machine that I used at camp, so I kind of already have an idea of how to use it. But really, we were just knitting straight strips. We weren't doing anything special, and there's so much more that I will be able to do with the knitting machine. So look forward to some things like that in my future of knitting. Okay, so let's get into the knitting. Finished objects. I finished my knit swirl, sort of. I finished the knitting. I finished the knitting at camp on Thursday, the second Thursday, before the second weekend. And I had every intention of blocking it. I think it was Thursday. No, it might have been Monday. I don't even remember what day I finished it now. It might have been the first Thursday. Who knows? The days just ran together. Anyway, in fact, you know what? I think it was the first Thursday. I'm going to have to go update my project page because I'm pretty sure that I put the second Thursday in my project page. Anyway, it's all done. Here is where I was the last time. The last time I showed you 4 weeks ago. And I finished everything. It's all done. I just have to block it and seam it up. And like I was started to say, I had every intention of blocking it at Knit-topia. However, it was cold, it was snowy, it was damp. The only place that I really had to block this thing was in the basement. And we didn't have a fan or anything that we could blow, help it dry quicker. And I just decided that I would wait till I got home. So I have it all ready to go. I have to block it. I am very excited about getting it blocked. It should fit me quite nicely. We had a lot of fun trying on all the different swirls at camp. The knit swirl knit along for Knit-topia is continuing for another year. We should have quite a number of knit swirls done next year. I think this year there was at least 3 new knit swirls, no, 4 new knit swirls started before camp. And I think only 1 got completed before camp. And another one, mine got completed at camp, and another one got completed at camp, but not seamed up. So next year we should have quite a number of knit swirls at camp, because I know that we kind of enabled more people to order the book and start their own knit swirl. So yeah, it's all done. My plan is to hopefully get it started to block on Sunday. I'm not sure if that's going to happen because Sunday is Steve's birthday. So we'll see how the weekend pans out, and it might not be until next weekend on Sunday that it gets blocked, but it's done, and I am very excited about getting it blocked so I can wear it. Although it's now finally starting to warm up. I think today it was 50 degrees and it felt like a heat wave. But that means that I probably am not going to get much wear of this sweater this year before it starts to really warm up into spring. However, I might be able to wear it kind of like as a jacket, a light jacket. So we'll see. But the knit swirl is done. The next finished object I'm going to show you is my snuggle prototype. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, I made a snuggle on the knitting machine, and here it is, and it's actually two-sided. So I knit 2 squares, and then I crochet the edge. I'm hoping that that's gonna, and I crocheted the edge. Now what I did was, I did the squares. Are we going to refocus? I did the squares on the knitting machine, counted the rows, make sure I had the right number of rows, and then I did a slip stitch on the edge all the way around, and then a single crochet all the way around, and then I did a single crochet to join the 2 pieces wrong sides together. Now, the reason this is a prototype is if you look at this, you see it's kind of gathered on the side. I didn't really add enough slip stitches on the side. The top and the bottom, I used the same number of stitches as I have, the same number of crochet stitches as I have knitting stitches. On the side, I did 1 stitch for every 2 rows, and I really found that I needed more stitches. So the next one that I do, I'm going to do 1 crochet stitch for every, no, 2 crochet stitches for every 3 rows. We're going to try that and see how that goes. I think that'll be much better. It just kind of is a little puckery on the side. But this was the prototype, and you may have seen there's a snag right here because my cats have already started using it and loving on it. So I know that the shelter animals will also love it and enjoy it. Not this one, because this one's a prototype and I just gave it to my cats. But I have this one all ready to go. This is my square. This is just waste yarn, and this is the other side. So I will take the waste yarn off of these, do the same thing where I do a slip stitch around and then do the crochet to seam it together. And same thing with this one. Here it's just a strip, and I just did it all as one piece. These are kind of like what we did for the blanket. But the waste yarn we found was the key to all of the machine knitting. So we have waste yarn on this as well. I'll just take out the waste yarn and seam those up. So I'll have 2 snuggles ready to donate as soon as I can get them seamed up with the crochet. So that should go pretty quickly. I believe with this one I knit up the squares and then crocheted all the pieces, and I think I finished it the same day. I think I started the squares first thing in the morning, and I believe before I went to bed that night the pieces were seamed together, or possibly just a little bit in the morning the next day was finished it off. But I foresee a lot of knitted, machine knitted snuggles to be donated this year. Just quickly, update on my featherweight socks. I did work on these while I was bouncing at Knit-topia for a little bit. Not too much progress on these. In fact, I don't even know if I moved the stitch marker up. Good question. Not sure. So they're getting there. I still have quite a ways. I'm pretty sure that I'm almost to the point where I'm going to start the ribbing on this one. In fact, I may have stopped this one because I was wanting to start ribbing, so I just picked this one up. So those are coming along. Nothing too exciting about a stockinette sock, but they are coming right along. The next project I have for you is my Little Big Shrug, which is in my money bag that was gifted to me by all the participants at Knit-topia. And I have had this project in this bag since I got home. And this is the one and only project that I've been carting back and forth to work with me this week in hopes that I would have time to knit at work. But that has not happened. But hopefully I'll have some time next week because my boss is going on vacation again. So we'll see how busy we are. Anyway, I have made a bit of progress on this since the last time I showed it to you. What I'm finding about this project is that I can now do it without even ever referring to the pattern, which is great. So it is a nice travel project right now because it's still somewhat small. And I don't have to look at the pattern. But here it is, and all it is a rectangle that you knit this textured stitch, and then I'm going to seam up the arms to a certain point, and then the back stays open for a little shrug. So not anything too exciting about it, other than that this is the one project I have worked on this week. I think I did a couple of repeats this week. I do have to be careful because apparently when I stick this in my bag, I've been poking it with these signature needles. So I've been pulling some stitches when I've put it in the bag. So I need to pay a little bit more attention to where my needles are going when I close my bag up. So that's the Little Big Shrug. The next project is the Fall Mystery Shawl, which I can't remember what the name is actually of the pattern. I'm calling it the Fall Mystery Shawl because that's what it was when I knit it 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I can't remember. Anyway, this is the one I'm making for my mom, and I'm still hoping that I will get at least this shawl done before I go to Maryland Sheep and Wool so I can give it to her while I'm there. We have a month to go. I should be able to do it. I am in chart 1, 2, 3. I'm in chart 4, and there's 5 charts. And it goes pretty quickly if I have a chance to work on it. However, I haven't worked on it much. I did work on it some at Knit-topia. I think I was about halfway through chart 3 before Knit-topia. And then I've finished chart 3. You'll see here my lifeline. I finished chart 3 and then started chart 4 and got quite a number of rows done on chart 4, but I believe the charts are around 26 to 30 rows, so I'm not exactly sure how many more rows I have for chart 4, but it is coming along. Again, it's fairly easy knit. When I was at Knit-topia, there was a couple of days where it was a little crazy busy and I was trying to knit lace and I screwed up the stitch counts, the stitch pattern, so when I was doing the next row, it was hard to try and, work out where I was. At one point, I was trying to knit from chart 3 when I was on chart 4, so that didn't help either. But I was able to fix it all, work it all out in the end, and it is coming along. Like I said, I hope to have this completed by the beginning of May so that I can give it to my mom. Even if I have to block it at my mom's house while I'm there, that is totally fine. But I have another shawl that I would like to try and get done before then as well. The likelihood of me getting both of them done is slim to none, considering I want to start a couple new projects, and I will be having my knitting machine next week, and that will probably consume a lot of my time. Just saying. Now, I did work on my sock yarn blanket at Knit-topia. It has become a annual thing that I work on my sock yarn blanket at Knit-topia. And I did do a couple of squares. But I realized that I am doing 2 rows at the same time, which is I think why it's taken me so long to do this row. I think I have 2 rows going. I'll have to check my Ravelry page. But my idea also was to get all my ends woven in at Knit-topia. I did weave in a number of ends, but did not get them all woven in. So I need to work on that in the coming weeks. But I will show you as soon as I can get a row completed. And the last project I'm going to talk about today is not even started yet. But I wanted to show you my swatch. This may look a little bit familiar to you, but it is my yarn that I spun up from Knit-topia 2013. Now, I don't think that's focusing. There we go. It's the yarn I spun up from Knit-topia 2013. I had every intention of starting my sweater that I want to knit with this. I did find the sweater that I want to knit, and it's going to be the Nantucket Red. And let's see if I have a quick picture of that sweater. I don't think I do. Let me see if I have it in Knit Companion yet. Let me just do a quick, I think I might have it in Knit Companion, because if I was going to start it at Knit-topia, I would need it in Knit Companion. And wouldn't you know? Nope, I don't have it in Knit Companion. At least not on my iPad. Anyway, it is a very cute, simple cardigan sweater with a little bit of detail on the front and on the back, a little lace stitch pattern. I've got my swatch. I'm ready to go. I've got my yarn all caked up in there somewhere. And I'm using my Knit-topia bag from 2013. I didn't get any Knit-topia bags this year. Any Knit-topia bags from getting the fabric made. Flaked on that. I thought about it and then it just never happened. But I think I'm going to do that again next year because I really like having my Knit-topia fabric bag. So yeah, that's the last project this week. I hope to have it started maybe by the next time I record. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have done little or no spinning in the past few weeks. I did a tiny bit of spinning at Knit-topia and I started a new fiber. And it was one of my Into the World clubs when I was in the classic club. I don't even have it anywhere close here that I can show you. So I'll show you next time. I have spun a little bit on my North Cabin Fiber Crafts, but barely any to speak of. I'm still on the first braid. I have 2 braids of it, and I'm still on the first braid, and that is on my Ladybug. I have thoughts about selling my Ladybug only because I love spinning on my Hansen. And honestly, I feel overwhelmed when I have 2 things on the spinning wheel at the same time. If I have the 2 wheels and I have 2 different things. So I'm thinking I might be selling my Ladybug at some point in the near future and just having the Hansen as my primary wheel. But yeah, that's about all the spinning that I have done recently. I still need to do some book reviews. I have 3 or 4 that I need to get done. My thought is that maybe I'm going to do a book review and post it on my alternating weeks when I don't record. Sometimes my recordings, you know, are a little long-winded, and to add a book review in sometimes makes it even longer. So I think I will try to do that in the coming weeks. Next week is obviously going to be a Knit-topia recap. So I will have all that video. I will have a little bit of commentary along with it. But yeah, I think I'm just going to do the book reviews as separate uploads, because I end up uploading them separately anyway so that they can always be referred back to. So we'll see how that works, and we'll go from there. I will also be starting up the VKNs at some point very soon. I am still trying to get back in the swing of life. So I don't want to schedule anything yet, but it will probably be May before I schedule a VKN. However, I might change that. I don't know. I am going to be going to Maryland Sheep and Wool the first weekend in May. So if you are planning on going to Maryland Sheep and Wool, please get in contact with me, and hopefully we can meet up and sometime at the event. I'm sure that there's probably going to be podcaster meetups or whatever, and I will try to participate in those. But by all means, if you see me, say hi. Stop me, say hi. I am going to have no plan when I go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. In fact, I'm going to try and not buy too much stuff. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time maybe just sitting around and knitting or just wandering. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do just yet, but by all means, please feel free to come up to me, stop me anytime. No worries. Nothing is that important that I have to do it right that second. So yeah, just come up and find me. The next time I record, I will be doing a drawing for the iTunes comments. So if you have recently put in a comment or you're thinking about putting in a comment on iTunes, get that taken care of before the next time I record, and I will be doing my drawing right on air for that. I also want to remind everybody about the Knit Your Stash Challenge. You should have been working on getting your stash into Ravelry. Everything has to be uploaded into Ravelry by March 31st. Pictures included preferably, but not completely required. And then on April 1st, start knitting, start posting those finished objects. In fact, April 1st is Tuesday, so I need to get that thread started and ready to go so that you guys can start posting. Speaking of threads, I'm trying to get caught up on the threads on Ravelry in the group. There are quite a few that have numerous postings that I like to read through, and I try not to go to those threads until I'm ready to really read through them and be able to respond to them if response is necessary. So I'm hoping that this weekend will provide time to do that. I have kind of gone through some that didn't have that many posts that I could take some time to review, but there are some that have a number of posts that I haven't seen, and I want to provide my full attention to them. So I haven't even gone to those threads yet. But I am going to try and get caught up on those this weekend and then get that thread posted for the finished objects. And as of April 1st, you can start posting. You do not have to cast on April 1st. It can be any project that you have been working on that is from Stash that you have had posted. The Stash has been posted in your Ravelry library by the end of March. So if you buy yarn on March 31st and you post it to Ravelry on March 31st, it counts. Okay? This is a year-long challenge. So we are working from our stash. I'm not saying you can't buy new yarn in 2014. I'm just saying that the only projects that are going to count for this particular knit-along are the ones where your stash was acquired prior to March 31st or on March 31st, 2014. If you have any questions on the rules of this knit-along, just get in contact with me. Just understand that I have a long list of PMs also to get through, so I'm trying to get to everybody as quick as possible. If you have something that you need an answer on right away, put emergency in the subject line and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. I am trying, again, I don't like to go and read the my PMs until I'm ready to provide my full attention and respond to them. So there are PMs in there that I haven't even seen. I might have seen the topic and I'm like, okay, I don't have time to deal with that right now. So I've just kind of skipped over them. So I do have a lot of PMs I'm trying to get through as well. So please bear with me while I get back to life in general, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Coming up, I do have still a very long list of tutorials that I want to prepare for you guys. My next tutorial I think is going to be for the braided cast on and the Latvian braid, because we did that at Knit Camp and I promised everybody that I would have that tutorial up so that if they needed a refresher when they got home, they would have something to go back to. So that is going to be coming up. I also have a number of other tutorials that I'm working on, trying to prepare, and again, the knitting machine, you might see some knitting machine tutorials as well. And that's all I've got for you this week. Again, it's close to 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. I'm going to try and keep my show under an hour when I record my knitting progress updates. And if I do my book reviews as separate postings, then hopefully I will be able to keep those podcasts under an hour. I know a lot of you don't care whether they're 45 minutes, a half hour, an hour, whatever. But I know that for me, when I go to watch podcasts, sometimes when I see an hour, I'm thinking, oh gosh, I don't have that kind of time to watch it. So I kind of skip over some of them that are an hour if I can find one that's a little bit shorter if I have less time. So I hope everybody has a great week. I am so glad to be back again talking with you guys, and I'll see you on Ravelry. Bye for now. A long time in the making with outstanding results, Barmaids delivers yet another excellent skincare formula. Simple ingredients, quick absorption, it's a healthy skin choice. ICE Serum is the perfect daily nightly eye treatment. With nourishing and protective antioxidants, this lightweight formula absorbs easily into the skin to deliver stunning results. ICE Serum is a powerful combination of natural ingredients which encourages skin regeneration, leads to tightening and toned skin due to astringent qualities, and contains potent antioxidants which help to slow down the visible signs of aging.